All right, we are ready. Hi, welcome everyone. Thanks for being here. Thanks the online audience, LinkedIn, YouTube. Thanks for your attendance. We are the AI user group. So we do events for professionals interested in AI solutions, learning new skills, discovering new tools. So we specialize in that. We do meetups every week. 1 week is for designers, 1 week is for developers, 1 week is for marketers. And we are about also to start workshops and hackathons. So bear with us, we'll have more activities for you guys. So AI User Group is an initiative from a company called Be My App. As you can see, the logo is big, so you can see it. So we do tech enablement events. Essentially, what we do here, so meetups, hackathons, conferences for tech companies. So if you are part of a tech company and you need an agency, think about us. The agenda for today, so it's changed a little bit. We had a last-minute cancellation, but we have 2 great speakers for tonight. First, it's going to be Masha, right here, talking about consistency with Midjourney. And then we have Joselito, who will talk about generating music with Gen AI solutions. So we'll try to have these sessions a little bit loose. So if you have questions, feel free. We have time for questions tonight. Then we have what we call the community news. So if you have any announcements to make, so it's a community event. If you are hiring, if you are looking for a job, if you are looking for a co-founder, if you launch a solution and you want beta testers, all of that, you just come at the end and we give you the mic and you can present it to the audience and also to the live audience. And then we'll start with networking and our delicious pizzas. We are closing the doors at 8:50, so just keep that in mind. And also, I'm looking for speakers for our next event, so it's going to be in a month. If you have any, either you discovered the tool, you want to talk about it, you have tested something, you tested a workflow, you launched something, you tried something and it didn't work, come see me. We can work on a presentation for you. Also, if you know someone working on an AI tools for designers, let me know. We are looking for speakers for our next edition. All right. And our first speaker is Masha. Let's give Masha a round of applause. So it's going to give her a good energy to start.
Okay, check. Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Masha, and I'm UX UI AI designer. Today, I will talk about Midjourney. I will not be generating on the spot, but we'll go over the generating process. And so Midjourney is an AI that generates raster images. However, it can imitate any style, nearly any style, and first part of my presentation will be devoted to a few styles that we can create with Midjourney. And second part of the presentation will be devoted to the consistency in images and when we create character, how we can achieve consistency. So let's talk about vectors. To create images in Midjourney as if they were created with vectors, we need to put some tokens into a prompt, and tokens is a fancy word for just like signal word. So those signal words can be, but it's not limited to, it can be flat art, vector style, or vectorized simple line silhouette. And the very simplified version of the prompt is flat art of Golden Gate Bridge. And then depending on the vision that you have and goal that you have, you will make your prompt more complex, maybe adding some design, effects, colors, description, and so on. So this is the examples of the images that you can get using the tokens that we just discussed. There's another example. And this post was created for Instagram. And just to clarify that I generated only the image in Midjourney. And the entire composition with the copy I added in Figma. And as of for now, Midjourney can generate images. Sorry, not images, but copy. But it's not as reliable because it can misspell sometimes, or it can place in a very funny spot, so you can't rely that it will create a great composition exactly how you envision using the words. So just like here as well, I added the copy afterwards. So for now, when you create images in Midjourney, just keep in mind that you will need to do post-production, whatever it is, especially if it is with words or descriptions or quotes or any words. So now let's talk about the style 3D. And again, it's not a true 3D, it's imitation of 3D, but for the signal words, you can use 3D render, perspective view, 3D printed, made out of clay or paper pop-up. That's not quite intuitive, but it gives a good results. And so the simplified version is 3D render of a rabbit. So let's see what we have. So the rabbit had a 3D render. The flower had a made out of clay. And the last, the castle is a pop-up, is a paper pop-up castle. And this slide, all of the images were generated with the token 3D printed. So this, the results that you can expect using this token. And now let's talk about mockups. Again, it's not true mockup. You cannot, there's no layers in PSD of Photoshop, but it's just one PNG or JPEG style. So here, the signal words or tokens are empty mockup. That's what I usually use. Just mockup, widescreen, or sometimes when Midjourney wants to add logos or labels, the parameter no labels can help with that to create just a blank blank version of a mockup that you're looking for. And the very simplified version is of a prompt is empty mockup of a phone. Let's see what we will get. So this is what Midjourney generated, which looks okay, but it also looks very generic, and it looks like you can find these images in stock. So why would you use Midjourney? And if you have a project where you need to use the brand identity, or if there's any colors that you need to have, so that's where you will start to make your prompt more complex and add either the effects or colors or description. So this is the example that I generated here. None of them I ran through Photoshop, but in my experience, there should be post-production for composition or color correction, but this is what you would get. Yeah, you can see that Midjourney also added some dots on the bottle, even though it was supposed to be empty, but that's not a huge error because it's easy to fix in Photoshop. All right, and so let's talk about consistency. When I started using AI, I ran into this issue where I really liked what I generated, but then I wouldn't know how to recreate that. And this is where the consistency is coming. So consistency in photography or images, or when you create a character. So there's already styles that are very common in use. For example, street photography, when you put that into prompt, there's a certain style that you can expect. But also, you can create your own style using multiple words that would describe what you want to see in the images. Let's take a look of a social media. This is a winery. And so here, I used grainy effect, golden hour, and I think it was a Kodak camera. And by using the same combination, and I think it was cozy atmosphere as well, and using the same combination of words, when you're generating this image, you can expect the consistency. I also realized that I skipped this slide, so let's take a look at it. The signal words, how you create the prompt. You can start including light, effect, camera, and colors. I also recommend that you kind of take a look at the language that photographers use and start including that into prompts to see what it will show you. So, and the example of a simplified prompt is nature in golden hour, and that's already a style created here. This is another example. Here I used muted colors and Kodak camera, and so as you can see, the consistency is good. Now let's talk about consistency in creating characters. So to start off, we need to create an entire sheet that already has a character with multiple poses or emotions. To do that, we will include either multiple pose sheet, different poses, emotions, character sheet, character design. For example, character design of a rabbit sheet. Let's see what we will get. So this is an example, and you, again, can start making it more complex by describing if it's a watercolor, if it's a 2D flat. Maybe you're looking for certain composition or how the character interacts. So let's take a look at the slide of a different character sheet. So this is what we would get. This sheet already has many poses that you can work with, but you can't have only these poses to create the entire story. You need to have diversity, right? And for that, we can use the parameter that is called seed or cref, which is character reference. They basically have similar function. I prefer to use the seed parameter, but let's see what we can do. So once we have this sheet, we go to the Photoshop and then cut out each pose so we can later on drop it off in Midjourney. And then we will ask Midjourney to refer to these poses to create another pose, but with the same character. And this is an example. So now our character is reading a book and watering flowers. Again, depending on your vision or your goal, you can start changing its costumes. You can changing the compositions. You can start changing maybe the locations of the character, and then also you can decide if it will be presented in different styles. It's the same character, but it's in different locations and therefore different styles, or if you want to be very consistent with the style, and that way you can create the story, the ongoing story. I also use this trick not only for the characters, but for the products. Here, my generation was different side view of a product, and I just found it helpful to visualize how the website will look like, or how to present it to our customers so they can envision a little bit better what you have in mind. But let's go back to the character sheet. So this is the cupcakes that I work with in a little bit of a detail. So that's the final sheet that was generated, and as you can see, it's pretty good, but it's missing eyes, it's missing like mouth, some of the characters. So you can't really work with that, right? So there's percentage of work that needs to be done in Adobe. Also, Midjourney likes to have bloopers, so that's what I got also while working on the consistency with the cupcakes. But I also used the parameter seed, and if you go back and see the original sheet, so I added the emotion that cupcake is in love, which is this one, which is here, and also I added, I wanted the cupcake to have strawberry and cherry on top and different kind of emotion. So that the parameter seed and character reference let me do that, let me expand the character and create my vision through that. And so this cupcakes in particular became digital stickers that are used in social media, especially in Telegram, the Messenger Telegram, and also they were printed out as physical stickers. So that's what you can do with Midjourney. And that was my presentation. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope you learned today.
All right, better. Cool, well, thanks Masha for the presentation. Do we have questions for Masha? No, all clear? Yes? Yes, we do.
Oh, sure, yeah, of course. Great presentation. I was wondering, how did you find all the different prompts or tokens that you referenced? Because there's clearly a lot of them. I've used a couple, but there was so much that I had never seen before, and so I imagine there's a ton.
Yeah, so basically it's trial and error, really. So Midjourney has library where you can go into Midjourney and you can see how other people generated their images. You look at the prompts, and then you kind of like analyze how this prompt led to this image. But also I just heard and read here and there some tips on how to create styles, and so just getting information pieces by pieces. But I would say that Midjourney has a great library just to use it as a reference how other people use. And also there is a website, FreeFlow, I think it's called FreeFlow, and it's not related to Midjourney, but there is description of styles, and then you also pick a style, and whatever style you look, and then you look at the prompt and see what are the signal words that the AI used to that, and then you just kind of start playing with them. Yeah.
Hello, that was really nice. I was interested also in regards to the parameters, which is only available in the Discord side, right? It's not on the Midjourney site itself. I was wondering about that, and like in regards to some of these parameters, are there specific ones that you like to use in particular, besides seed and cref, that always gets you, you know, like stuff that you really like, and what kind of stuff is that?
I was about to say the seed parameter, and then you said not to use it. So I use the seed parameter a lot. I think that's a great parameter because it always gives you a reference. If you try to use prompt and Midjourney just doesn't want to listen to you, just creates a random thing, the seed parameter will help you with that a lot. It will save you. I often use the S parameter. I think it's stylized parameter. It's S and then numbers from 100 to 1,000. I'm not sure what the range is, but stylized, it's the creativity. It's the diversity that you will get in the 4 generated images. So I like to use that so I can see. So I just have more options to choose from. And just for fun, I like to use the C parameter, and the C parameter is the parameter that takes you away from your prompt. So you just prompt something, and the higher number you put to C, the more random generation you have. And sometimes it's actually very helpful because you kind of like looking what you're envisioning, but you can't find that yet. And then Midjourney just helps you with that.
And what's new in Midjourney 6?
Let's see. Well, they did say that the images are better, so you don't need to upscale them, but I still upscale them. And then they did say the lettering, the words would be better. It did get better, but as I said, I don't find it as reliable anymore. And I don't remember the updates because the newest version was back in June, so it's been a while.
And is it now at a stage where you are using it for your client project?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Do we have more questions? Yes?
Another question. For UX UI design, have there been any ways that you've used Midjourney? Like for example, you showed the mock-up screen for some iPhones, and it was like, oh yeah, this would be great to show mock-ups. Has there been any other ways you've used it for UX UI design?
Well, as I said, this slide can help envision to convey your vision to a client. But to be quite honest, I think it's a very slow use of AI right now. It's the old way is still quite workable, so I don't need to use it to get the work done, but I personally try to investigate how I can use as much AI as possible because I think it's a great tool.
Are you using any other AI tools for designers?
What do you mean?
Other tools besides Midjourney?
Oh, well, I use all the needed tools, which is Adobe, Figma, right? But the new tool that I'm using is just only AI. Oh, you mean other AI?
Other AI tools.
Oh, yeah. Recraft. I use Recraft. It's great for vectors. And I've been using a little bit of a Stable Diffusion, which Stable Diffusion is very similar to Midjourney, but I've seen how in combination it can create very powerful products.
Nice. The founder of Recraft gonna be at our conference in April, so that's nice. Yes. Who has a question? Yes.
How did you use for the backpacking piece right there you showed? How did you use AI for that?
So for the product, my token here was Amazon product, and then description of the product. Amazon product is already signaling Midjourney that the background should be very chill, and also that the certain details should be there. So Midjourney know how to display the product. So Amazon product, and then because I wanted to have multiple views, I just said in multiple views. And this is how I got there, but I probably I could use front view, rear view, just I would find the words that would make sure that it will show me from different views. That's what I was looking for. And then I added the sheet. So how I would add to the character design sheet, so it knows it should be the sheet with the same item, but in different, with the different views. I just did the same with the product.
More questions? No? Yes, of course. We have time.
You mentioned your vector recraft. Do you prefer that over, I think, is it Illustrator, Adobe Firefly? Thank you.
I'll be honest with you, I haven't used Adobe Firefly that much. I've seen what it does and I like it, but I haven't used it. And for learning, I think Recraft is a little bit more intuitive. You just explore and you kind of get what you're looking for. With Adobe Firefly, I think it takes a little bit more time to see what's going on and what it can create.
All right. One more? We are done? Okay, cool. Thanks, Masha. That was great. Yeah, let's give Masha
Thank
a round
you.
of applause. Joselito, the stage is yours. So next, Joselito gonna present how to craft GenAI music with Suno.
How's everybody doing? Thanks. I thought someone else was coming in right between us. That was the person that flaked? Okay. How's everybody doing? Good, good. How many first-timers here? Oh, cool. So for those that have been to the AI user group meetings, you guys, I don't know if I look familiar or if I can see it, but I've attended several AI user group meetings in the past because I really do like what they're doing here. As far as like getting enthusiasts together with experts to to interchange ideas. But I just wanted to show first who I am. I didn't fully prepare for tonight other than to make this into an activity with you guys. I am also an AI user enthusiast, and just like many of you guys, there's people here in many different levels. How many people have used Midjourney before? How many people have used Runway before? How about ChatGPT? How about Suno? Okay, so a few people, right? So you guys are familiar with Suno as a Gen AI music creation tool. Anyways, I just kind of wanted to tell you first, I want to spend like just a few minutes on who I am, maybe put everything into context. Here's my LinkedIn. Feel free to connect with me and just remind me like where we met, and maybe we can continue discussing stuff beyond tonight. I've worked in the tech industry here in San Francisco for several years for LinkedIn and for Meta, but about 2020 or something like that, I decided to step out of the tech scene and kind of start just doing my own stuff. And I'll tell everybody here that it was awkward for a lot of my friends who I grew up here in the city as well, because we all grew up here in the city, and then the tech industry sort of just came to us. But many of us were very nerdy, We were totally into, like the punk metal scene. We were totally into like Dungeons and Dragons. We were totally into all this kind of like stuff that were regarded as being renegade in many ways. But I had brought that culture into the tech industry as well, where we were continuously researching stuff. I was involved in UX, UI as well, teaching that at a school, a digital college across the Bay called Expression Center for many years. And over there, we were able to experiment on many things that was prior to this sort of like big boom in AI. But just to roll back a little bit about my childhood here, if I could share first. Growing up here in the city during the 80s, I'm a lot older than most of you guys. In the punk metal scene, it kind of gave us this sort of fervor for doing things different and always kind of pushing things over the edge. And we sort of developed this sort of stylism, right, in regards to making things kind of more aggressive, I guess in my case, right, because of the metal and punk scene. In context for that, when I do create stuff, my design stuff do tend to lean towards a lot of alternative imagery and sounds. So I had worked on a movie for maybe 10, 20 years, actually with mixed media, creating, using Super 8mm film. How many people remember that? Probably your grandparents. And even with spy cams that were at the time was 240p, and we thought, wow, that's high def, or camcorders and old, those type of cameras. We would take all that footage and then we would mix it up and we would create something like this. I don't know how many people are familiar with Ralph Bakshi. Ralph Bakshi was a rotoscope animator where he took old film and then drew on top of it, and that's how they created the animation, the cell animation. Where maybe around the 2000s, there was still this product called Macromedia that created Director and Flash, Dreamweaver, and I forgot Fire or something. Those programs were eventually acquired by Adobe. And Adobe, with Flash, we were able to then take QuickTime videos and then vectorize them to turn them into animation. And so I was trying to fashion something like that with this particular project, and I'll just show you guys just a portion of it. So this music was created with programs like Reason 2.0, which is a MIDI program that I was then able to utilize sounds to design the bass with, using sine waves, and then was able to use the MIDI to then replicate drum patterns that I wanted. Now the images were taken at various parts of the scene here, around the 2000s, and we simply just took these videos, and in order to marry them all together, we utilized this rotoscoping technique, similar to movies like Waking Life. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but those type of movies where you would see the video and then they would animate right on top of it. So we were trying to replicate that by utilizing some of those methods. And what I'll do is I'll fast forward a little bit just to show you how that works out. So this is all before filters and Instagram and even in After Effects. Before all that, we were having to do it in Flash, right? It was very cumbersome and it took a long time. This is all before We could utilize like programs like Maya or other like 3D programs. So I just wanted to kind of just show you guys a sample of what I was doing at the time, you know, in regards to this. Why this is important is because, you know, as an indie filmmaker, right, growing up here in the city, it was very important for me to, you know, really have full control over the stuff that I really wanted to make. I was in the tech industry, creating stuff for other people, and it was, you know, okay, you know, accolades and metrics and analytics, and it's all great, and promotions and whatever, but I was always kind of missing, like, well, I want to make something dark and kind of like about breakups, you know, and not, you know, necessarily about like, you know, gung-ho commercial stuff. So because of that, you know, I kind of went on my own venture, and even though it took a long time, I went and did it, and I did it my particular way. I did all the music, I did all the videos, I did all the shots. I wrote, I produced, I directed it. I did the animations that were included in it. I scored it, and then I also ended up like marketing it and also like taking it on. It's now available at Amazon finally, but like nobody's watching it, so it's okay. All right, so in regards to, I did win like a few accolades, and it was a official selection SF Indie Fest in 2020, so there's that. Why am I boasting about it? Well, because I'm trying to put into context about how important it was for me to have like a side project, a creative project, as somebody who is maybe doing tech, or in many cases, because I'm also part of the IASA local union here as an AV engineer. We do a lot of labor kind of work as well, which feels really great. But at the end of the day, I'd like to like get home and I want to create something. And typically, it would be like doing another sort of like epic story movie, or in many cases, I would like make music. So in one case, I had started developing this like idea of a sci-fi flick, where we had used a program called AIVA, took the MIDI and then replicated it into like a symphonic score. And then at the time, that was when Midjourney was starting to kind of really put out a lot of like good updates. And just like with the speaker before me, you know, we were going into Midjourney, creating style sheets, utilizing photography terms and lenses as part of our parameter structure, so that you know, when we put it out, it would always look like a Kodak, or it would always look like a Fuji shot. And then we would then take those images, and then we would go to Runway, and then we would then animate it. And then in animating it, like, of course, we burned through so many, like, you know, credits all the time. And that's really, you know, the nature of AI programs, right? It's like, you gotta pay, you know? It was free for a good minute, like on Hugging Face, when we were all there, like, several years ago, just coming up with, you know, going into spaces in Hugging Face. By the way, so if you guys haven't heard of Hugging Face yet, you guys should check out huggingface.com. There's also Hugging Face Chat, or called Hugging Chat, which is pretty much like ChatGPT with all of the different models, but everything's free. And you can train a lot of stuff on there. And it's just like a really good playground. But as far as like doing really quality stuff, I say use Midjourney, use Runway, check out Kling.ai, check out like, I think Minimax is the new one out of China. And these are all like video renderers, right? So image to video rendering. And so for a lot of you guys that are motion graphics folks, you know how important it is to have sound in your stuff. So how many people here are motion graphic designers? Oh, okay. So for the both of us, video editors at all? Okay, so motion graphic designers, video editors, you know how important it is to utilize sound and music for your craft, right? So I'll just show you like what it is that I did for this one particular project, where we did exactly what the last speaker was talking about, which is utilizing seed and C references to maintain a consistent face with all of the characters and all of the, in this case, spaceship and background And then, so let's just take a look at like how it ended up. Sorry about the
Choose from thousands of realistic
Commercials.
voices to use in your content.
All right, so that's just an example of what you can do with Midjourney using like seed references and style
There's a brand
sheets.
new tool that is the best AI image generator
I
on
don't
the
know where that's
market.
coming from.
Runway now allows you to control camera
Oh.
movement directly inside.
Okay, so sorry about that. Hey, we're live tonight. All right, so these are things that you guys do. I know a majority of people that are graphic designers are looking for tips and tricks in how to actually create a lot of their graphic design print for their client projects. But for those that are hobbyists like me who really just like creating stuff, using this stuff, I think utilizing really getting deep into the Discord version of Midjourney, where you could go deep into your parameter structure. You could also layer them, meaning like you could assign a particular set of parameters that, let's say, once you start to generate the kind of images that you want to create, you could save that and then always call it up, right? And so that way you could have like something consistent throughout your creation process. Utilizing Midjourney and then utilizing Runway to animate it for you. But what I'm showing you in front right now is like something in particular to like my transition into like the music part of this. As you saw in my that last project with the movie thing, the music was made by myself, and this was something that I really enjoyed growing up here in the city, right? I was part of bands. There was a lot of like metal bands and punk bands that were happening here during the 80s. And it was actually like my way of being able to get out of the type of trouble that many people my age at that time would get into, right? And it was music that got us out of it. And one of the big things about it was that that sort of camaraderie and collaboration with other human beings was so important, especially at that age, as you all understand, right? That is something that really you can't get from a computer by yourself, right? But like meeting people, and then like where you're able to then give ideas, and then they then collaborate with you. That was like such an important thing. But after a while, when, in my case, when our age group got past high school, people went to school, like myself, some other people went to the military, like many of my other friends, some people like went back into the streets, right, for a lot of those folks. And it was very troubling for myself, because I lost a lot of like musician buddies that I really needed, that was really inspiring for me. And since then, it's just really been chasing the Holy Grail, right? I meet so many other musicians. They're great and everything like that, but when we try to collaborate, the egos clash, schedules clash, sometimes the girlfriends clash, and sometimes the many things that kind of just get in the way. And it became very hard for me to find other collaborators, people that would give me ideas, and then I'd throw something at it, and then they would give it something back, until I found Suno. Okay, so once I found Suno, I was then able to start generating some of these ideas that I had for particular projects that I couldn't before, not just by buying sound libraries or licensing music constantly. So what I started to do was create music, and then I went ahead and published it. So one of the things that I did was I did a project called Sochil, and this is something that started out on ChatGPT, where I created the lyrics on there. I had ChatGPT translate it, and then into Spanish. I don't speak Spanish. And then from there, brought it into Suno, generated the music from Suno, exported the audio, brought it into another digital audio workstation, like in my case, I used Logic Pro. And, but you guys could use other free stuff like CapCut, if you guys want to use that, which is a video editor, but you could also use it for audio. And I basically brought it to Logic and then mixed it myself to change it enough so that I am not ripping anybody else's work off, and then published it through a digital distribution platform. So now this is available on Spotify and Apple and all that stuff. So I'm just going to play a section of one of these songs. And you'll see here on this side over here, this was created using Midjourney and Runway to create the clip.
Siento el peso del cielo gris, sombras llegan hasta mi piel. De todo lo que tengo aquí, solo soy buena suficiente. Todos susurran tan fuerte, las calles vacías sin tu paz. Pasos lentos en desorden, mi mejor es lo que puedo dar.
Okay, so
Cierro los ojos.
what's interesting about this project was people were asking, like, why'd you make this? What for? And I really didn't have a good answer. I think I was working on a different project for a client, and I was getting frustrated, so I just stopped whatever I was doing and turned around, and I just started making, like, music, or clicking buttons for a lot of people, right? But I was telling Suno, like, what chords, what scale progressions. I was telling it all what I wanted it to do, and then I had to burn through all the credits in order to get what I want. But ultimately, I ended up, I think after about 2-3 hours, I had like a full album of like stuff. And I was like, oh, well, I'll just like do something with this. And then at that point, I was like, okay, I'll get back to the client, and then I was able to finish the work. And it was that sort of fervor that I had in regards to the AI stuff. I was able to just like really let it like, answer to my call to do something like on my own and my different. I guess maybe it's just the way my brain works. So I had done something like this. And now, so my friends all know that I do like this AI music kind of stuff, right? And one thing about me also is that I'm very involved with my community, the Filipino community here in San Francisco. And one of the things that we like doing besides food and partying is stick fighting. So I wanted to show you guys something that we were doing, and I'll put it into context too. So this is just something that we do. That's me on the right. This is called Filipino stick fighting, or eskrima. Guess who made the music? Spoiler alert, by the way, is he beats me, by the way. All right, cool. I'm gonna spare you guys the violence, but so because of this, a friend of mine recently came and visited us in one of the festival presentations that we were doing. We were doing a demo like this, and she was like, "Well, you know, we need music for our event that's coming up this Saturday." And I was like, "Geez." Well, maybe I could help you out. Why don't I like put something together for you, right? And why don't you tell me what it's about? And so in sharing that, what I did is I went to ChatGPT, and after talking with the person that's organizing it, I asked them like a few questions in regards to what the theme of the event was, and it's about like giving back to our community. And I was like, which community? She was like, Crocker, Amazon. I was like, oh, I don't know if you guys know, but Crocker, Amazon is probably one of the last vestiges of San Francisco that is still kind of San Francisco. But a long time ago, it was kind of considered to be a rough neighborhood. So what I did is I had asked ChatGPT to write a rap song in the structure where I told it to start with the chorus, verse, and also in what vein. I said in the vein of Eminem meets Tupac, and the topic is leaving the old toxic neighborhood to find a better life, only to come back to make other lives better, right? And then what it did is it spat out like a bunch of verses. Some people call these vars, but we'll call them verses. And what I did is I went into Suno, and I had plugged it in to. Let me see if I can get to that song right quick. So in one of these songs right here, after like throwing in the lyrics, it then gave me this.
I left that old block here, the cracks and the scars, chasing dreams past the streets, aiming for the stars, made it out of the grind, past the struggle and the wait, but now I'm back here, I ain't closing no gate. I'm giving back, shedding light in the dark, bringing hope to my people, reigniting that spark. I remember nights.
Okay, so here's Suno, as you can see. And for those people that have never seen Suno before, this actually is probably right now like one of the leading like Gen AI music generators. Of course, you guys could find other apps out there that's available, but right now Suno has like some things about it that's really helpful. Like being able to edit just a section, or be able to create what's called a persona. You know, a persona would be is like you could take the vocals of a song, and then turn the vocal of it as a persona, so that way you guys could be more consistent in the voice, right? Versus all these like random voices. But generically, a lot of these AI music have like the same voice because it's all tend to be trained that way. And one way to get around having the same generic voice is to use another program like Kits. So what I would do is like you would after you have like a song that you generate however many credits in order to get to, you could then download it into an MP3. You could also extend it. You could do a cover song of your own song, right? You could also get stems, which means like all the separate files, like the drums, the bass, the guitar, right? But in the Suno case, you only get the vocal and the music. So you would need another program to separate the instruments, right? Let's say you do something like that, and I've downloaded it, right? I'm gonna quit here. And then I would then go into Kits. So Kits is another paid subscription program where you could do voice cloning. How many people here have heard of 1111 Labs? So as you know, 1111 Labs, you guys could train a model, right? Particularly for speech, and which is very useful, especially if you do a lot of like, if you're into education or do like academic podcasts, or even storybooks or audio books. 1111 Labs is quite important, especially if you do anything on social media. You guys hear the same voice all the time, right? that sort of AI voice. It's like, I forgot who, but there's like an AI voice that's constantly being used. So one way you could customize it is to create like your own voice clone. So on Kits, what I had done is I had created like my own voice by taking one of my, or 15 minutes of my lecture and uploading it into the model here to train it so that it remembers my voice, right? And so how that would help is like, let's say if you were going to convert something like, if I want to say like, I had already done this before because it takes about 3 hours to train, right? And usually what you would do is you would record yourself for like maybe 15 to 30 minutes, talking in all kinds of different inflections and different pitches, and then you would then upload it into their voice cloning system here, and it would analyze it. It takes about like 3 hours to actually get like a complete trained voice model, and it's not always, you know, great, but you'd be surprised. So in this case, you know, like I had taken some speech, or like take the vocals after I had generated the music in Suno and then uploaded it into here. I would then able to go and, by uploading the song input, right, use the voice model. In this particular case, I would like select and then one that I had actually created for myself. But you could also use the many different types of like vocal singers from, you know, different styles, country to pop to blues to ballads and things like that, right? So just an example of what that sounds like.
Solo el amor con amor se paga.
For example. So in this case, I would use my own voice and I would select like my own speaking voice, for example, and if I wanted to say something, I would say like, hello world. And I'll just do a medium or a high because I tend to speak high when I talk. So when you do a convert, it will convert it quite fast, right? What you could then do is like take this sort of, you know, vocal samples and then use it for your videos or something like that, right? So it would sound like, hello world. Hello world. That's me. All right, so, but in my particular example here, like we had taken that song and what I had done is I had ran it through that system and it will automatically replace the vocal of the song. It will basically parse it out to different stems, take out the vocal track, replace it with your clone and then marry it back.
I left that old block in attraction the stars, chasing dreams past the streets, aiming for the stars, made it out of the grind.
So if you guys remember, like we had created this in Suno, but now this is my voice model.
I'm giving back, shedding light in the dark, bringing hope to my people, reigniting that spark. I remember I left that old block, giving tracks in the stars,
This is
chasing
now
dreams
using my
past the
voice
streets,
clone.
aiming for the stars, made it out of
Does
the
it sound like me?
grind, past the struggle in the wait.
So that's
But now
AI.
I'm back here, I ain't closing no gate. I'm giving back, shedding light in the dark, bringing hope to my people, reigniting that spark. I remember nights, street lights flickered, cold winds blew, violence thicker, neighbors gone ghost, on board and they
Is that my voice?
gunshots.
It sounds like me, isn't it?
part of the game.
All right, so in this case, what I had done was like, it took me about like 2 to 3 hours to do just that in regards to also like taking breaks because I was also cooking at the same time. And I was doing like, it was like ground beef and mushrooms and omelet. So I had to kind of, it was quick. But I basically had already recorded my lecture, right? And I had taken a snippet of it and I had like, uploaded it into Kits already, right? So it was already available, so that was part of the reason why it was fast. But otherwise you would have to wait another 3 hours whenever you do that. So what happened then was that I had like taken the ChatGPT, had taken the lyrics, I had then brought it into Suno, it generated the music, I brought it into Kits, I had created a voice model, I had replaced the voice model, and now I could like put it into another program like Fader, where I could then take a song and then basically remix it, right? So this was like that was like one of the songs that we had done, right? And so with this, like I'm able to like,
that old block here, the cracks and the scars, chasing dreams past the street. Made it out of the grind, past the struggle and the wait, but now I'm back here, I ain't closing no gate. I'm giving back, shedding light in the dark.
so I could just take just the music, right? And then be able to then bring it into like another program where I would like replace it with my own voice or something like that in order to kind of turn it into something completely my own. So this is just like one example of what I had done to utilize AI programs, in this case, ChatGPT, Suno, Kits, and Fader, to basically create like a song for my friend's event this Saturday. And it took me about 2 to 3 hours versus months of scheduling all the people that needed to come together in order to do this, right? And then collaborating with them and all the beer and pizza I would need to buy in order to like keep them all happy, right? And so I think what this has really done is really sped up the production process for myself, where I could then take the idea, and if I really truly want to turn it into something, I could then present it to like my artist friends, and then we can talk business after that. So this is still, in a sense, like a way for creating like mock-ups, but mock-ups that people can hear, right? And they could actually, you could even utilize this sort of method of adding, audio to whatever presentation that you're doing, right? So how much time do I have? Oh yeah, good. So I think importantly also, this sort of like deal with Suno and generative AI music, the big deal about it really is how legal is this, right? This is like one thing that everyone always has to deal with in regards to AI, whether you're new or old to it. Because we all know that a majority of the artwork was modeled on pre-existing material that was already available online, right? And some people will argue, okay, well, we're humans, so like when I play a guitar ditty, I'm actually influenced by all those other things the same way, right? So what's the difference? And some people say, well, you can't really just like, play an Elvis song and then call it yours, right? You would need to pay licensing to the lyrics and I guess to whoever, right, in order to utilize it, right? So there's always that big question as to how do you deal with all these things? And we are in the frontier of all that, right? And I think what's important for people to remember, though, that of course record labels are not looking out for the artists; they're looking out for the labels, right? And if they own something, they want to make sure they get paid for it, right? And what's happening with Gen AI music is that it pretty much cuts a lot of that out. We're able to create music now. We've lowered the entry barrier. And most importantly, for people like me that need to create music to kind of like deal with life, we're able to just do that, And some people say, well, you're not really making music, you're just pressing buttons and writing in prompts. And I'm like, yeah, but have you heard of HTML? You know what I mean? It's like, that's how you got the website. We had to like write everything out, And it is like another way of designing and developing, even though you don't have a camera anymore. I happen to love lomography. I love old plastic Russian toy cameras, right? And I love like taking pictures right here. I love the light leaks. I love Polaroids. I love all those things. I love Lomos with the 4 shots. I love panos. These are all old stuff that if I find it in the flea market, I totally geek out. But I'd have to find it at a flea market. But with Midjourney, I'm able to like put everything in that I need to like say, and it just knows It doesn't completely know, I would need to train it, but I'm able to then generate whatever image that I want, right? And same with Suno. If you're into music, if you need music to basically use for your video projects, or maybe for Christmas, you might want to write a song for that one special person that you've been wanting to tell, something about, right? And it's one way to be able to use that, right? So I really think that the access to these tools is very important. And we also need to protect it because people are trying to shut it down because they're afraid about losing their jobs, they say, right? But actually, if, just like when Photoshop came out, it didn't kill the painter. AI still cannot paint, right? There's still the human aspect of it that's still there. And it'll always be like that, I believe. So I would say, if there's anything that we can do to make sure that these tools are readily available for us so that we can do our own creative work faster and cheaper, right? And better, right? That's like the best freelancer ever. So thanks for listening to that.
Thank you. Thanks, Joselito. That was beautiful. Do we have questions for Joselito? Yes.
First of all, amazing. Thanks for
Thank you.
presenting. I'm totally blown away. So I get the ChatGPT, you created a chorus and some verses, and you recorded your voice so you could mimic your voice and make variations.
Mm-hmm.
When you get into Suno, you have some musical background. Do you apply your musical background?
Yeah.
Can you to Suno, or if you don't have a musical background, is that required? And how? I mean, I have a musical background, so I'm thinking, forget about GarageBand. I'm going to go start creating something original.
Mm-hmm.
But can you just talk more about like when you get into Suno, what's that experience like?
Well, when I first started using Suno, it was right when it came out, so it was very limited. But now, you could just type something like, I could even show you something very simple. So in Suno, when you go to create, what kind of music do you like? What kind of music do you like? Blues. So you could do style of music, blues, right? You could say, chord progression, what kind of chord progression? Something like, I can't actually see. I'll do like an A minor chord or something like that, right? And I'll say like slow, and I'll say emotive or something. And then for the lyrics, you could say it's a song about like, I miss my dog, right? And then you could say, just, I miss my dog, and then you could click the write about, and it will automatically generate lyrics for you, right? Like this. Okay, and then you could also even say exclude styles, right? So let's say no rock, right? No hip hop, no jazz. Well, jazz blues is cool, so we'll keep jazz, right? And then for a persona, like what I was talking about before, this is like designing the voice based on another song that you had created. So let's say we don't have one right now, right? And we'll just create it this way. And it automatically created a title for me, Paws and Whiskers. And then once we hit create, it'll burn like about 10 credits, right? And then you could do this as many times as you want, right? Until you get something that you like. But look how fast it just like made it, right? So now we have like a song, I'll play it.
On a morning hike we used to go where the winds would gently blow. Now the trail feels so alone.
It's nice, and a lot of people go, it doesn't sound human.
Not at home.
I don't know. I think when I hear the words, that's actually what comes to me, you know, because that's what touches us in our heart. Typically, how we connect to a song. But this is the generic female vocals, by the way, that Suno has. So let's listen to the second one.
On a morning hike, we used to go
Oh, it's a dude.
where the winds would gently blow. Now the trail
They'll give you 2 each time.
so long.
So it is rolling a dice.
My buddy,
And, but if you want to really, notice how easy that is, right? You could also like create something where like you know, I've done this before where I would just, let's say, I would say intro, and I would put it in brackets, right? It works as, I guess, meta tags. And I would say intro, and I would say, let's say, guitar lead. And then I'll say verse 1, and I'll write something like, you know, where's the pizza? And then put it in brackets and say like maybe 5 times, right? And then we'll do chorus. Pepperoni. How many times? Let's just say 5 times. Okay. 5 times, and then we'll just do end, right? Like this. Okay, and let's style of music. Let's say thrash metal. And then exclude styles. We'll just say symphonic. No, new metal. Because if you're a true metalhead, you don't like new metal. No, something like that. All right. So, and then we'll change the title from Paws and Whiskers to Pepperoni. Right? So when we hit create, you'll notice like based on the lyric length too, it'll affect like the, you know, the Okay, so you could do, and that was like too easy. Oh yeah, let's hear like what the second one sounds like really quick. It's still metal. I'm actually going to keep this. There we go. Okay, so so this can get really fun. Like maybe your parents like Frank Sinatra or something like that, right? Or for the majority of guys, maybe your parents like The Cure or maybe something, or No Doubt, or something like that, right? Much later in time. So there's many things that you can do. The only thing that you can't do in Suno is basically tell it to create music based on an actual artist. You would just need to say 90s ska, and then it will make a bunch of music that sounds like No Doubt or Sublime or things like that, because it was trained on those models, right? And if you wanted to maybe create like something like, and I've done this in many different projects. I'm actually working on a project right now that is basically J-pop, right? And I don't speak Japanese, so I'd have to like still get somebody who speaks Japanese to basically verify to make sure it all sounds right, right? So I think, for example, there's this one here. And I had fashioned it based on like some, really I just told it like sexy lo-fi hip hop, 73 BPM, make it dark. And then I plugged in Japanese lyrics that I created out of, you know, like on ChatGPT. And automatically it sounds like you know, something you would hear at some retail shop in Tokyo if you ever go there, right? So there's all these things that you could do. I mean, I'm just showing you guys like all the possibilities that you could create with Suno, just for like, you know, like even for your project. So for example, like, you know, before I came here earlier, I was working on another project, and so for example, let me see if I could replicate something really quick here. Text-to-speech.
Here's a rap in Japanese about eggshells in an omelette, capturing the frustration and humor of finding them in your food. So I was like creating all this like stuff, right? That I would then need to take like that audio and then basically like use it for the video that for the particular client that I have. And it was just, you know, instead of me having to hire somebody on Fiverr or somebody like that to basically create the thing for me, I did have to pay $10 a month in order to generate a unlimited amount of, not unlimited, but like a certain amount of material that I could then use, you know, so. The impact of AI on the music industry is set to be transformative, reshaping music creation, production, and distribution. AI tools like AI Via and Kits.ai allow creators to generate new compositions or enhance existing music with sophisticated sound design, democratizing music creation and enabling independent artists and smaller companies to produce high-quality music more affordably. For record companies, AI offers productivity gains, allowing rapid music production and even tailored music experiences for listeners. This shift could blur lines between producer and consumer, with fans potentially collaborating or remixing songs legally. However, this technology introduces significant...
So what I'm showing you guys right now is I basically like created like a, I put all of my lecture notes into Kits and then just replaced it with my voice. And then I'm able to then export a lot of this stuff too. And then you're able to then control like the emotiveness of it by adding the depth and I guess it would, I forgot what they call it, but on here you're able to then like, you know, change the, how do you say, the variations in the way you speak. So let's say if you guys are making podcasts, you could basically plug in all of like your material in there and then export the audio, and then using like a podcast creation program. You could, you know, you don't need to sit there and talk and edit forever anymore. You could basically just type it all out. And even have ChatGPT help you out do that. You could even, with ChatGPT, upload all of your research, your PDFs and things like that. Then it will automatically scrub it and then create the lecture out for you. And then you're then able to then export it into a full speech. And then from there, I think, you know, like you could use Suno to basically like create like the background music for it, whatever it is. And then, so now you don't have to like, you know, pay for like any other service other than that. And you have like no like licensing issues if you were using music that you generated with the paid subscription program for Suno. So I'm hoping like maybe I was able to answer more than like you wanted out of that. But I just wanted to kind of like show you that, you know, you could be as simple as you want and then accept whatever you have, or you could really get deep into it and really create with this, you know, based on, you know, how far you really want to take it.
Great. More questions? Yes.
I have a couple, actually. So, you know, in the past when you were in a band and all that, you had to actually collaborate with people to create music. But with this tool, it seems to me that one person could basically create music. You don't need to collaborate with anybody.
No, you don't. And it's the same with music anyways, right? I could pick up a guitar, not collaborate with anybody, but
But you would need the drums and you would need, you know,
right.
the vocalists and so on and so forth to actually create, you know,
something live, right?
something like what you
Yeah.
just demonstrated.
That's right, that's right.
So right now, you're basically saying that just one person could actually be a band.
Yeah. And, you know, let me, in parallel to that, is that, you know, when I pick up a guitar and I record it, and then I decide to overdub my bass, and then I also decide to overdub my drums, and then I go to my band and I go, listen to this, can you guys play this? And then they would play it, and then we have like a live song, right? And then there's the approach where we show up, bong rips, start playing, and then we just create something. We have it recorded, and then we have to try to remember it, right? And then that's the other approach that you're talking about, which is this sort of collaborative thing. I don't get that with the AI.
Right.
I get the first scenario with AI, where I'm able to get my ideas out, and then take the ideas, and then I have to present it to all of my folks and go, hey, do you guys like this? Let's play it. And then we would play it live.
Right.
You know, so the difference though is that before I would need to get on GarageBand, do loops, you know, structure, arrange everything. Whereas with this, I could just tell it like, here's the structure, here's the lyrics, here's the chord progression, here's the time signature.
Right. And a related question is, now, if you want to make music, if somebody wants to make music, you know, initially you need different skills. Now, what would you say is the required skill set to create something, you know, high quality music?
In music?
Yeah.
I think
What are the skills now? It just seems like typing.
No, I think empathy would be the biggest skill.
Okay.
Yeah. Like emotional intelligence will be able to dictate for you what sort of music you could make. Because a lot of people like use Suno to create music really just for themselves, and then they want to put it out and say, look, I did it, right? And then there's people that are just having fun making this stuff, writing songs about their dog, you know, or pizza, you know, and then just you know, being creative in that sense, because it then spits back feedback to you, you know, like what we were just doing. Okay, it gave me automatic feedback, and that's the sort of same triggers that I have for collaborative work. You know, where like I do this, I feed it back, and then I take that idea, I go back, and then it spits back something. It's like collaboration going back, but this time it's not late, it's not on drugs, it's not hitting on my girlfriend. You know what I mean? It's a different experience.
Yeah. It's hitting on your computer.
Yeah. So I would encourage also for everyone to pick up a ukulele.
All right. I think we have time for one more question.
Where's the pizza?
Okay. Right before we play the pepperoni song.
Yes. I don't know. Do you know if professional musicians are using it or in any way? I don't know. It's just out of curiosity.
Yeah, I'm curious also because this is on a serious note. There's a majority of my musician friends hate what I'm doing. They hate it. They're like, I mean, we're still friends, and they still invite me out. But just the fact that they feel kind of usurped, and also maybe because they spent 30, 40 years crafting their shit. Excuse me, their stuff. And then I'm like there going like this, I can do math rock now, like that. To them, it's insulting. And then there's the other group of friends that I have that are DJ producers. They make drum and bass, they make dub, they make whatever, techno or lo-fi or whatever. And they're just like, they're going like, oh man, they don't have to search for anything, because typically that's the hardest part, right? When you're scrolling for stuff to watch in a movie, before you watch a movie, right? It takes forever. Whereas with this, you just tell it what you want, and it won't always, but most of the time it will give you something that you could then springboard from. So there are artists that are using it now, commercial artists, and there's people that have been receiving backlash on it because of this idea that it's taking talent jobs away. There's DJ producers that are saying, well, this person can't sing that well, but we'll make her a star anyways by using, voice clones and doing things like this. There are those people too. Which one is more prevalent? I would say those that are against it, I think would be the majority. And so I use this really as a hobby. And as far as like creating commercial music and things like that, I am still 101% behind human beings. But if they're always late.
Okay, that was great.
Yeah.
Let's give Joselito a round of applause. Joselito.
Thank you.
This pepperoni song,
Yes,
man.
thank you. And if you guys have questions like in regards to technique and stuff like this, beyond Suno, in regards to how to utilize like Midjourney and all that stuff with music for motion graphics, feel free to talk to me after. Yeah.
Awesome. All right. This is our next event. So if you enjoyed what you saw tonight, feel free to register. It's already live on Luma and meetup.com. And now this is time for community news. So if anyone wants to come here and present an opportunity, job, looking for a job, looking for a partner, looking for Joselito to create a song about something. No? Next time? Okay, we do that next time. Cool. So I think we are done for tonight. Thank you all for your attendance. We're going to start networking. Pizzas are served in the back. And thank you, live audience. See you next time. Thank you all.